The controversial Maharlika Investment Fund Bill is just a step away from becoming law.
I will sign it as soon as I get it. Am I happy? Well, that is the version that the House and the Senate has passed, and we will certainly look into all of the changes.
With Marcos certifying it as urgent, the bill sailed through Congress with hardly any roadblocks.
Most of the changes that were proposed and that were eventually adopted really had to do with the safety and the security of people's pension funds. The key to the success of any fund is the management.
Who manages the Maharlika Fund is a top issue against the bill. UP economists raise a red flag on presidential appointees sitting on the board of the Maharlika Investment Corporation, the fund manager.
It has to operate as an independent fund, well managed professionally. Kung corrupt ang ilagay mo dyan, corrupt talaga yan. Mawawala yung pera.
Part of the multi-billion peso seed capital comes from state-run institutions Land Bank, DBP, and PAGCOR. The Bangko Sentral also contributes via its dividends. All considered as public funds that should be spent on social welfare like nutrition programs and building public schools. But instead, these public funds will be diverted into a corporation that invests them elsewhere. Economists like former central banker Diwa Ginigundo and UP's Emmanuel De Dios say such diversion of public money translates to opportunity cost, or the potential benefits that the Filipino people would miss out on. So the wealth fund must reap at least 10% in financial returns to compensate for those foregone opportunities. But the formula drawn up by lawmakers was below that, only 8.6%.
The economic returns won't be reaped anytime soon, and more importantly, they are much more difficult to measure. But many of the proponents keep saying that the expected returns from the Maharlika Investment Fund will be at around 8.6%, and many people have been wondering, where did this come from?
Any diversion of earnings from the present to the future that does not yield a real rate of return of around 7% cannot be justified. The alternative use should yield a rate of return of at least 10 to 11%.
UP economists doubled down on their argument. Sovereign wealth funds should be built on surpluses, not when you face a deficit or a ballooning debt. Because only when it's built on surplus that a sovereign wealth fund won't have to compete with public spending that citizens sorely need and deserve. Lois Calderon, CNN, Philippines.